meet Koko, and Koko was so sweet and so lovely. And she didn't mind that I didn't have $15 million to give her, which I'm grateful for. How different were people you met for the first time off stream? Okay, so hi Silly Kidna. This is not the first time I met like my friends off stream, right? Like I went to go visit Churchy in LA once, and like recently Minnie and I were kind of like cool with talking about this, but we did meet before in person. So there was like a different trip before then, and that was the first time. Minnie was the first VTuber I have ever met like off stream in person without knowing what they look like.
MC billboard here. Her skull is so thick she has to have her brain on the outside. The only thing she's good for is weather tech ads.
No.
Thank God the blue thing with her, or there would be no reason to watch. Just kidding. We all love you.
He does look pretty dapper in his little business suit, even behind the blanket. Yeah, Minnie was the very first VTuber that I ever like actually met without knowing what she looked like, because like I knew what Churchy looked like. Her face is like, you know, on the internet and stuff, and like you know, I didn't meet Ellie and Bo, but like I know what they look like, right? So like when it comes to Minnie, I didn't know what she looked like. First of all, Minnie is so freaking adorable. She's so cute. I feel like one main thing that I think like we talked about with Koko was like who matches their model, and I think like yeah, I think Minnie really, I feel like, you know, eventually over time I think everybody kind of looks like their model, because they are them, right? Their model is them, and then they are their real human skin. Yeah, but Minnie's so cute, and I was like, oh my gosh, Minnie's so freaking cute, and I was like, oh my gosh, but we were really nervous the first time we met. Like the thing is, like, we were the first people to like get to whatever place, and then so we didn't have anybody as a buffer, and then so we were just like, also we weren't really like super close yet. We talked a couple of times, but the first time we talked ever, just the two of us, was in person. So it was like a bit nerve-wracking. But eventually after the first trip, I kind of like understood what it's like to meet VTubers, you know, in their like human forms or their like human suits that they're borrowing. At first it's a bit jarring because you never associate them with, you know, you hear the voice coming out of their face, but their face is a different face, right? But then eventually they just kind of all mesh into one person. They all kind of mesh into one person. So like, you know, like all the people I met at first, I'm like, whoa. Like I saw Koko and I was like, whoa, you don't have like a robotic arm. I was like, what do you mean you don't have a robotic arm, Koko? That's crazy. But then afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I look at Koko and I'm like, yeah, this is Koko. Like dogs. I mean, sorry, not with her. You know, she definitely has a robotic arm. But like not with her when I met her, you know? So like, she definitely has like a robotic arm, probably in her suitcase, but like, you know, she didn't like, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. She probably had like a prosthetic human looking arm, you know, instead of like a robotic arm. That's probably what she had. Yeah. They're just made of flesh. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. But you know, it was really nice to meet everybody. And at first it might be a bit jarring, but after a while you're just kind of like, yeah, you're just updating in your brain like a different version of them that you see. Yeah, it's like, okay, a way I would describe it, it's like if you have friends who like wear makeup, right? So I wear makeup, and like whenever I go on these trips, I like to like do fancy makeup. So like I'm talking like eyeliner, I get some eyeshadow, like I like to make my eyes pop, right? And then so I don't think I look super different without makeup, but I do look a bit different because I don't have like eyeliner on, right? And then so it's kind of like seeing your friends with and without makeup. That's how I feel when I see my VTuber friends in person. It's like seeing them like with and without makeup. It's like seeing them as like their performance selves as their VTuber versus like them when they're like off screen, right? And I think that's nice. I think that was nice. I don't know. My heart's so happy. I'm so happy, dude. I'm so happy meeting all my friends. It's like a friend when...
I get your concerns.
Oh, yeah.
But the people who actually know and care about you most will always be there for you. The mean comments of you, if they exist, are more reflective of the people making them, not of you.
Yeah.
So listen to the Shoominians, your friends, and most importantly, your fiancé instead of the jerks that live on the internet.
True.
If the brainworms are ever being mean and you're feeling self-conscious, just remember that we'll always see the true you even when you can't.
Oh, that's so sweet, Ty. What the heck? What the heck? That's so sweet. What the heck? What the heck? That's so sweet. Ugh. But yeah, like the group of people I was talking to about this, you know, like Churchy being one of them. Churchy said that like she's seen like people being kind of mean. But like also ultimately at the end, I think like we as a group kind of agreed that we're all being one guy, or it's just like 5 guys. And then I think Churchy said this, it was so funny. She's like, 5 guys, burgers and fries, 5 guys, burgers and fries. So actually, I did get to meet Koko, but I didn't know whether or not I would probably like I would get to meet her. So and I didn't really have a lot of time left before I had to like leave for the airport. So I didn't get to.
We won't eat it.
No, this is mine. So I didn't get to paint her anything with watercolor, but I doodled something silly before I actually got to see her. With pen though. But it was I did actually doodle a little thing of Dan and the divorcees performing, but the divorcees all bailed on him, so it was just Dan. Koko was so happy on Twitch you get to see her. Yeah, I'm so happy I got to see her. Because honestly, also with like TwitchCon, I feel like it's really hard to make sure you see everybody. You know, it's hard to make sure that you see all of your friends. And I was really happy that I got to see her, and it was really nice. And she's super cool, and she's very cool. She's very cool. She's very nice. It was cool. It was cool. Yippee. It was funny because Churchy also got to meet Koko, and it was funny because Churchy was like, I think like we were talking about like just like the idea of meeting Koko in person, and how like for some reason a couple of us were like, we're under the impression that like the chat noises would come with her. Like wherever she goes, all you hear is like fucking fuck you, Timmy. Like it would just follow her. But no, Koko was very, very sweet, very cool, very chill. And I was so happy I got to see her. I mean, like, to me, in my eyes, I always see Koko as like cooler older sister kind of vibe, you know? And yeah, I feel like it's the same in person. Yeah, it's like, it's also an experience to be able to talk to Koko without the voices. I feel like most times I interact with Koko, it's like on stream, and then there's just like TTS playing like all the time. I'm like, wait, this is crazy. There's no like voices yelling at me. Yeah, she's very chill. I don't know if she got to meet any of the chimps, but yeah. Also, can I just say, like, all of my freaking friends are like so cool. She has an alt stream. Wait, really? She has an alt stream without the TTS? I didn't know that. Yeah, she got to meet the chimps.